Welcome to the Double Broker Bounty Hunters Stop the Scam. Here are your hosts, the Double Broker Bounty Hunter, John Cantera, and Hey folks, welcome to Stop the Scam. I am going to tell you all this is going to be an abbreviated episode today. Kate is unable to attend, and frankly, we both have been exceptionally busy with the active investigations we have going on. Many of you who watch the show regularly know which investigations that we have been working very hard on. But I do want to get a couple of things out there for our regular viewers. First off, thank you if you're a regular viewer. We would definitely love for you to keep watching us and feel free to comment as necessary. We're trying to deal with everything that is brought to us to try to make things fair for both carriers and brokers throughout this industry. Secondly, and this is probably one of the most important things that y'all need to remember, DOT week's coming, folks. So it's time to give your trucks a real good once over. Make sure that you've got all your stuff squared away because they will be out there to look at. Now, officially, DOT week is May 14th through the 16th. But we all know damn well that DOT usually increases their frequencies of inspections beginning usually the weekend prior. So I would expect Friday and Saturday, you will start to see some increased activity at various checkpoints, way stations, etc. So be ready for that. The focus of this DOT week is substance abuse. So for those of you who are known to help yourself relax in the evening by some recreational means that may not be legal in the state that you are in at that moment, watch out. Okay, so please be very careful out there. If you have any kinds of controlled substances, make sure you have all the necessary documentation to account for them. All right, moving on. We did encounter earlier this week, actually last week, an issue with brokers looking for physical BOLs before they pay. I personally ran into this with one particular broker, and I'll be perfectly honest, I am not angry about it. It's inconvenient as hell, absolutely, but I'm not exactly upset. Now, let's cover the important key points for doing this. One, we all know that the BOL, the physical document that actually has ink on it, the FBI can go and they can test the ink and prove that it wasn't coming out of a printer. That document is what in a court of law makes a carrier the final mile carrier per 49 CFR 377. That means that that is the carrier that must be paid for that load. So if you hold that document and you haven't gotten paid for the load, that's one of the things that we're here to help with. Now, if a broker asks you for proof that you were the actual carrier by sending the real BOL, the physical document, the actual pen and ink, that is acceptable. I must warn you that once you surrender possession of that document, then a broker can turn around and say, no, you weren't the carrier, prove you were the carrier, whatever, and then you not get paid. It is plausible. There aren't many brokers in this industry who are going to pull that stunt, but they do exist. So what I strongly recommend is if you end up sending your BOL to a broker, whether by US mail, FedEx, UPS, whatever, number one, track it. You want constant tracking on it at all times. Number two, insure it. And when you go to insure it, make sure you insure it for the value of the rate confirmation that you're expecting payment on. what you don't want to have happen is the document disappear and boom, you're out of luck. So at least if you have it insured and the document disappears, then you can file a claim with USPS or with FedEx or whoever you used, so that you can at least get paid even though the document is gone. Keep that in mind as you go through. I know that particular tip has saved a few people in the last week. Don't let scammers take you for a ride. Guys, the international guys that are out there are still thick as thieves. They are still out there stealing from carriers and brokers alike. They have not stopped. They have not decreased in their frequency. The reason why we have been highlighting more domestic scammers is because they are doing more damage to individual carriers and individual brokers. However, the international guys are still out there. They are still robbing us blind, and it is still a billion-dollar industry for these guys out of Eastern Europe. So don't expect that to change anytime soon. If you think you are carrying a scam load, do not waste time. You need to contact us as soon as you know it so that we can trace it down and we can get good information for the real broker. Once we make contact with the real broker, we cut out the middleman, and then we go ahead and make sure you get a proper rate confirmation so you can deliver the cargo. The greatest concern about waiting is if you are holding a cargo that is actually stolen. Because when you deliver a stolen cargo, not only was the rate confirmation most likely falsified, not only was the BOL most likely falsified, but there's no recourse for you to get paid, because when the cargo disappears, there is no beneficial cargo owner. So, yeah, you don't want to screw with that. The instant you know you've got a problem is the instant you need to reach out to us, because it is very time sensitive. Once you deliver that cargo, all bets are off. And remember, you can't hold a cargo hostage. There's only one acceptable circumstance for that, and that's when there's no reasonable expectation of being paid. So reach out to us. Let us help you before you go off the deep end and then decide to become a vigilante. That's never good. For those who have been paying attention, I've also been talking about my webinar that I've been developing. It is the culmination of the last 2 years of fraud prevention work that I've been doing in the industry. It breaks down all of the double brokering styles that exist, how to identify them, how to avoid them, and if you get caught up in them, how to deal with them. It also is an extensive discussion on the legalities and the laws that govern all of this, and then govern the responses that you can and cannot make. It's probably about 2 hours long, maybe 3. I'm expecting to launch it. Hopefully, I'll put out a message about it next week. But we're still in development. I'm still working on the 3rd module. 4th module is almost completed, but I've got some updates to the 3rd module I have to do. Course development is a time-intensive process. When I was on active duty in the Air Force, I was an instructor at the logistics schoolhouse, and I helped develop the current logistics readiness officer course. And it takes a lot of time to do course development. You want to make sure you got all your facts right. You want to make sure that you've got all the citations right. You want to make sure, heck, even your spelling and grammar are right. So as I go through and I clean this course up, I will be launching it and having a video advertisement on my YouTube page, as well as a link to it in my emails for anyone who is interested. Other than that, guys, we're keeping this a very short show today. We will be back next week. We are live every Monday, 5 p.m. Central on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, with audio going out to Spotify and also now on RSS. So please check in with us anytime. If you are catching us live, please comment and we can answer any questions that you have live on the air. If you are catching the recording, email us so that we can go ahead and try to answer your questions in our next episode and make sure that all your issues are addressed. Again, if you have any issues, contact me, the Double Broker Bounty Hunter, at jcantera at vigilanttransport.com. That's VIGILANT, as in you dumbass double broker bastards. I'm watching you. vigilanttransport.com. You could also hit Kate at kprice at rockdovefs.com. Reach out to us anytime if you need anything. For the time being, folks, get ready for DOT week, and we will see you on the other side. Catch you on Monday.